Okay. For starters, you're gonna want to play right side if your team will set up around you. This is the optimal position because it's has more flexible sight lines. Here, you can walk this way when their backline's forced out, and you can kite to a mega. So a couple of important things there. This isn't an awful spot. You're not feeding, but you can get more value over from the right side.
My aim is also shit because I just like started playing. So.
Okay. Why are we walking here? What here makes you decide, let's start walking up?
Literally nothing. It's just used to probably just like hit skin brain thinking, oh, I could walk up and take an angle here or something, and like get out. So
okay, not a horrible instinct. It's like I don't mind walking, looking to take an angle, but the real problem is that their ball is behind you. And step one when playing against when playing in this ball mirror is to force out the enemy ball. And even if your team's not doing this, it's something you can keep track of, right? So if we go back, we're chilling here, right? We're poking, we see ball, we know he's there.
And I just ignore him.
And you just ignore him, right? If you walk past him, he can slam on you, Tracer can show up, right? Maybe your Brig or Diva gets distracted, and then a solo Sombra shows up and one clips you, right? A lot of things can go wrong when you walk just past their ball. So instead you can turn, make sure this ball leaves, so there's no resources for the enemy to put into you, and then you can walk pretty much for free. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Great.
The shadow of doubt.
The only other small critique there is I think you could have orbed your Tracer when she was on point. You discorded their Tracer, but you could have orbed your Tracer as well. Not a bad angle to take. Where'd your Brig go? Oh, she's over there. I'm trolling.
Yeah, I lost sight of my Brig on the next point, and I like literally couldn't find her.
Oh, we're aiming for the Tracer. Okay. I'm like staring at their Brig through the wall, and then I see you shoot not at their Brig, and then I'm like, there's no one on point. What are you looking at? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this. I'm just making empty motions with my mouth right now. The chance of you like two-tapping their Tracer is significantly lower than you landing meaningful damage on their backline. So once we have forced out their ball or haven't, and we've walked, right, we have a sight line, you're going to want to look to pressure the enemy backline first. You're going to hit more shots. It's going to be more impactful too, right? Like, even if you did hit this Tracer, if she doesn't die, she's still just going to sit here and shoot your ball and then get orb, and it doesn't matter. But if you break this Brig shield, right, then they back, they're scared, you tag Zen, maybe he dies. So when you do start walking here, you've shaken the dive pressure. That includes the Tracer. Now you're generally going to want to be looking at their backline. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That was good. Now I force ball out. Okay, dive pressure shaken. Start walking. Start walking.
No one can hide from my sight.
Nice. Well done. I will say the angle you took on their supports right here was a little narrow, and instead you could have looked to wide swing instead. Which doesn't give you as deep of an LOS back here, but... Okay, going into this fight, we know they have EMP, and you have Transcendence. What's your thought process?
Try and play back out of LOS, or play in an area where I can react to it well enough, or my Brig can try and keep me up with Inspire.
Okay.
Or like I can get peeled. But my main goal is to try and stay out of LOS at the Sombra.
Okay. So taking a look at this, where do you think that would be a good spot to do that for this map in particular?
Anyway, towards the back pillars, towards my spawn.
Like back, like this type area?
Yeah, back there, back in where it's a lot more green, like over there.
Okay.
Yeah, I do end up rotating back there.
Okay. Yeah. Not bad. I think two things I want to note is if your team is playing far forward, right in this kind of area would be nice. You have the pillar to dodge around, and then you have a sight line here to support your team when your ball goes for a slam and whatnot, and you're close to a mega, which if you have a Sombra can be hacked. So not a bad spot to be here if you're playing forward. If not, you know, back in this type area, not a bad shout. I would also say another benefit of playing tucked away in here is that it's very easy to spy check, right? If your Brig just stands here swinging, then easy spy check, right? And then if your D.Va's more, you know, further forward, and then if you do get EMP'd and your D.Va's close, maybe say here or here, and your D.Va doesn't get hacked, she can DM you, and then you live, and hopefully there's no follow-up because you're so far back in an enclosed space where it's hard for their ball to get. So those would be your positions to play here, where you can help your team forward. If your team's not playing forward, you can play in here. This is a little exposed. I would only play here if you are like one of these type areas, if you know where their ball is and know that it's not possible for him to get any follow-up, and that your backline can peel you. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Nice. Alright, Tracer's making moves. That means they're looking for something. There's that something. Nice.
I feel like my orb shouldn't be on Sombra in that situation though, but it was more of a reaction. I like reactively orbed the Sombra before I tranked, instead of just keeping it on ball.
Yeah, keeping it on ball would be good. Nice shot. Yeah, fight's lost. You can back, you can stay point.
Walk in harmony.
No one can hide.
Nice, except your Brig dies.
Yeah. I don't know how.
Personne n'échappe à
Huh?
Okay. What? Okay, that one's not on me. I thought I was like in the wrong for not orbing her there. She just walks forward and dies.
Oh, the Sombra's over here. I'm like, who is even...
I don't know.
Tragic. Alright, probably could have looked to orb your Brig. As you're walking, you're expecting to get jumped on, and then your Brig's gonna want orb for that. So as your Tracer or whoever like, goes through choke, you can like orb them, they scout, poke, prod, right? And then as you start walking choke, orb your Brig. Oops. At this point, just back, don't stagger. Especially where they're approaching 75%. Why are they not? Oh, we killed their ball. I'm like, why are they not pushing? Okay. I missed that detail. Alright,
Yeah,
this is fine then.
It's
Yeah, that's kind of tragic. Nice, recall forced. Nice, position forward for the Transcendence.
dude, I'm so sad that he got tranked there. If he doesn't get tranked there, we win.
Man.
Con being good. fucking pissed.
Okay. I think the big things, make sure you orb Brig when you walk through choke, unless again the exception being well, I'll back up a moment. The reason you orb your Brig is you're expecting their ball to jump on you guys, and your Brig's gonna need orb for that. If you know where their ball is and you know he can't go on you, then you don't need to orb your Brig. You can leave it on one of your DPS, or if your ball's like taking poke rotating, and you're trying to build Trank, you can leave it on him for that. The fuck up. Okay. Any questions, comments for this map? Play over here,
No.
or Brig, force out ball.
No, so play in more of an enclosed, like, try aim for more cover in health pack areas.
Yeah. And yeah, go ahead.
Try and keep orb on Brig when like rotating through a kill box.
Yeah. So another reason you want to play over here is your ball and Tracer are going to be over here using this health pack. And then
so that one's
yeah, go ahead.
Because that back one where Widow would be wouldn't ever be taken.
Pretty
It
much,
would
yeah.
just be, that one up there will always be taken now.
Yep, and it also sets up this nice crossfire, or like pincer onto point, right? Good angles here. Whereas if you're playing over here and your ball Tracer over here, then we have ball Tracer, Brig, Zen, Diva, and then like Sombra, right? We're just all clumped right here, and that's not good. So yeah, part of positioning over here for this map in particular is that your ball Tracer are going to be over here, and you don't want to stack with them. Thought I'd mention that. Okay, next map then.
Ready for battle. 5, 4.
This point was kind of hard.
1.
Okay.
It's really weird to play as like flex support on this point in general because it's too boxy. Like there's not enough range for Ana. Zen just gets farmed because of how many kill boxes there are.
You don't like playing Zen on this map?
I actually kind of like Orisa. I kind of like Orisa Bap on this map.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like Orisa Bap Cass. I actually think that's like not bad because then you can like you walk out main, see what they're running, and then depending on what they're running, you rotate into that mini room and walk out, and you just bunker in there. And then you have like maybe like Echo Mercy, maybe Tracer, like Tracer Brig.
Okay. All right, we'll talk a little bit about that more when we actually get onto the map. But for starters, you are gonna want to play. You said mini room. It's normally called cage. That's where your backline's gonna want to play. And for that,
I was talking about like the actual like room, not cage.
Oh, you were talking about the room, like in here.
Like actual like room. Like you would walk out main to scout with. No, not that one.
Oh,
like
this
on the other
one.
side that
The
leads
mini
to
room
cage.
that leads in the cage.
This one. Okay, there's a lot of minis. You want to bunker in here.
Like you would walk out main, see what they're running, and then you'd walk back in through that room and bunker there to take the fight. And while your Tracer like goes on like a flank or something.
Okay, interesting.
Your David's out like flying around like contesting point and chasing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to it. But for starters, you are gonna want to TP. You're not gonna want to walk main, which we'll talk about, like I said. And then you're gonna want to TP inland side. So you get there faster, and then you do walk through mini room, and then fight cage is where we're gonna look to play, and we'll see why in just a moment. Okay, we're gonna watch from Khan's perspective, I think. This is a great sightline for him, right? You see, he just gets to walk in. He's got a Brig with him. We'll ignore the fact that you killed him for 2 seconds. Gap. True. But you do see like the amount of value he gets here.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get over eager and starts chasing a diva, and he stays here in cover where he can still see the diva, he's fine, right? And he just absolutely pops off. So that's part of why cage is cool. Another part, which we will look at now that you're over here, is it's really easy for the enemy team to pincer you, right? They can go here,
Yeah.
they can go on top of Lighthouse. If a Sombra is cloaked up here later on, Ball Slime is free, Zen has free spam from whatever angle he chooses, and they can come around through Mini as well. So there's a lot that can get on you here, and you do have a Mini behind you, but when you go into the Mini, there's another doorway, so you're not really safe. It's just a health pack. Whereas this health pack back here is a lot safer because the room is bigger, it's deeper, right? You can like kind of play this corner, which also LOS is over here. So you just have more cover here and not as many ways for people to get on you. That make sense?
Yeah.
Nice. And then we'll talk rotation options as well, because that's important for Zen. When you're playing Zen over here in Cage, if you opt to go main at any point in time for whatever reason, you can. Or you can walk this way, or you can kite back this way, or you can push this way, or you can push this way, and you have a lot of options. But if you're here, your two options are like here and here for pushing, or kite this way, right? Or
Yeah.
mini and still die. But you just have a lot more flexibility, and
I think I feel like a big habit that I have is that I really like to take off angles because I'm like a hard hit scan, like one trick. Like I played like Widow,
okay.
Ashe, and Cass like all the time. So I'm used to walking on those off angles.
Okay.
So
I'll mention another thing then, with positioning over here, is when you're playing Zen in this comp, you have three. Well, you're running Cassidy, so I'll use blue team for the example, right? But you have basically two groups. You have your backline, and then you have your dive core, right? So you're split up into these two groups of three. And wherever you go as Zen, that's where your backline goes, right? There's
Yeah.
never going to be a time where you're over here and your backline's over here. So if you're positioning main, your backline needs to be here too. And Brig and Diva don't do anything here. Like, they do nothing. Diva does negative damage. Whip shot ends like here. So as long as no one steps forward, you don't land whip shots. And your backline does nothing. So you're sitting here, right, in arguably a suboptimal position from playing over here. And you're forcing your backliners to also not do anything. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Having said that, you recognize where their ball is, so you're confident, like, actually swinging this. Dominated. Orb your Diva mod check.
I thought I did. That one's on me. I just like brain farted. I thought I ordered my Diva, but it was on Cass.
Okay, still same thing. You're still gonna want to be over pushing Cage. Yeah, you're in here. If I remember correctly, you guys both get farmed.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I-
I'm like straight up hinting.
Yeah. And I know Khan's on defense here, but I'll still show you from his perspective, like, how free this is. Like, sure, his ball is set up and yours isn't, but, oh, nice shot. But, like, the sight line is just so free, and it's so hard to pressure him as compared to how easy it is to pressure you.
Yeah.
Okay, call to your team where the ball is. Hopefully, and I'll clarify, especially for ranked, don't just say ball top right, say come shoot the ball top right, force them out, right? Telling your teammates what to do instead of just giving them information and letting them do with it what they please. It's helpful, right? Then they don't get the slam, your Brig's not critical. We are making the most of a bad situation, though. Nice, get the flip. Right here, I wouldn't start charging up a right click. You know exactly where the Tracer is. You know exactly where she's going to be, right? Either she recalls or she fights. Those are our two options. So I'm not concerned about charging up a right click at all. Just keep to the primary fire here. The general rule obviously being, if you can see someone, shoot them. If you can't, charge up a right click. And you can't see the Tracer now, but you're about to, and you're a projectile here. So you could actually shoot right now. so you don't need to be charging up a right click here. And that's close, right? But if you, I don't think you'd actually have time to get another shot off, but if you take your time with it, instead of being like, oh, here's the tracer, release the right click, maybe you hit a headshot. So no need to charge up a right click there. Discord ball. Here's what I was looking for. Right, you see how free the tracer is here? Cute little kill box we're standing in. Alright, enough about playing main, but playing main, no bueno.
Okay.
Okay, we know their balls like to play top right. We should look for him. Nice, discord him.
I wanted to trank there, but something my friend told me, Flores, he's like a 4K 4.1 flex support. He told me like if you think 2 people are gonna die to mines after you get like slam comboed, trank. If you don't think anyone is like, if you think only like one person is going to, then don't. But I didn't think I would die here. I thought I would get packed before I died, but it just didn't happen, so I didn't react quick enough.
Okay. I think 3 things to keep in mind here. The first is that that tip that your friend gave you is a good rule of thumb, but it's very situational, whether or not you're going to trank here. For example, if you're the one that's going to die, and this brings me to my second point, trank. You can't die. Like, if you die, the fight's over. Most of the time. Unless we guarantee kill their ball, and we have rally, you can't die. You just can't. We don't win without you. Especially where we are on Cassidy, which means we don't have EMP, we don't win without you. So if there's a chance you die, which looking at your HP, there is, trank anyway. The next thing is, unless the team here scrimming are absolute potatoes, anytime a ball goes in, ever, he's looking at you, rolling, slamming, mining, whatever, there's going to be follow-up every single time. And if I'm not mistaken, their Sombra should be somewhere. Yeah, the Sombra's here too, right? And if you're playing Sombra instead, there's no Cassidy here, which means instead of hacking the cast, the Sombra's here also shooting you. So you have 3 people shooting you as you're hovering above a minefield with Transcendence, right? You're going to want to pop that pretty quick. Yeah. And then the last thing to keep in mind is, well, 2 things. One, they don't have EMP, which I assume we tracked. I'm going to make a bold assumption and say we did, considering they're only at 30%. And also, it's final fight territory, right? I would rather overspend here and give us a chance to win the round than lose and try to come back and like you're trying to touch with Trank. It's just not nearly as good. Rather just Trank to live. All that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
W. Yo, what's good, Nari?
Currently getting flamed.
I saw myself in the spectator thing, like in the preview.
Ah.
I was like, oh no.
Don't worry, you're popping off. You just killed North.
Poggers!
You did that a lot, bastard.
Rowan, I set that up. I set this up.
I tried to try to keep my diva alive. Literally like a millisecond off.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. Like you're literally a millisecond off.
Looking
It's
at
like,
this, what do you notice about your diva?
She's crit and discorded.
Discorded. That's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, she's discorded. She's going to die extremely quickly. And so you're going to want to trank early because of that extra damage. The other thing that's worth noting that you cannot see from this screen is that your diva has bomb. So unless she gets hacked, she has bomb. Unfortunately, that's a tragedy, really. But that is something to keep in mind when playing Ana and Zen, is do your tanks have ults, because you don't want to nano or trank when like your diva has bomb or your Winston has primal. So that is something to keep in mind that I wanted to mention. But yeah, trank should have come sooner.
And I also commented that I was going to trank after rally whenever I got back. And I'm not sure if I went too far or if I should have expected my team to walk up with me as far as I did with trank. It's like I trank here and then I call the push, the Brig, and the Zen.
Oh, your team backs. So at this point, like in this frame, there's two things that I'm noticing. The first is that these guys are backing, and the second thing is that you still have 3 seconds, which means this bomb cannot kill you. No matter where you can stand on top of it, it won't kill you. So now it's just a matter of where do you want to go, and you can take your time going there. And I don't think you should push because your brig is backing. And without your brig, as soon as Transcendence ends, you're dead.
That's what happened.
Yep, and your brig's like, I'm coming. Or middle ground, be a little more conservative, and instead of ending here, you end maybe like here, right? Conveniently inside your minefield, but closer to your brig, right? Your brig bashes to chase, now your brig's directly on top of you, and you're chilling. I think the ball also boops you, but...
I booped him in, yeah.
Rad ass character. Fuck you for playing that character, by the way.
I'm fucking forced to.
Forced to? Ball is fun. What are you talking about?
I actually like double bubble on that point a lot.
Dominated?
Dude, I fucking hate double bubble now.
Now because I hate Zarya. I thought it was cool
That's
at first.
crazy,
And
this shit, now I've realized how fucking broken how much better double bubble is in Brawl.
It's so good. Okay,
It sucks now, though.
we've already talked about positioning.
Yeah, I'm insane. I know.
Yeah.
My brig was 2 off rally.
Yeah, if your brig gets to swing over here and proc inspire over here, your brig gets rally. And their backline's not nearly so free. You notice their brig got a couple cleanup kills, and their Zen, I think, got the opening damage. That isn't nearly as free if we mirror cage.
I literally just went main and minefielded, and I was able to go. I just got so much high that your break couldn't do shit about me. Even if she whip shots me, I can still get it off. I go pretty high with this one.
Okay. Questions, comments, concerns for this map, or for this round rather.
Nothing really. Like, I understand everything. Like, I was inting by playing main.
Alright, I'll be back.
See you, Dari.
All right. Okay, let's talk here. So, there's 2 places to play on this map. Well, there's 3, but one comes later in the mid-fight. We'll talk about that when it comes. But the 2 places to play opening are upper and cage. Those are your two places to play. Defaulting upper is strong for 2 reasons. One, once you're upper, you can drop. If you start lower, you can't just jump up. You're not Baptiste. And then upper is also nice for nades and supporting your Winston. When your Winston jumps in on this high ground, you need to be able to support him. And you can do that from here, but you can do it better from here.
Even though that fucking giant bell's in the way.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, so here exactly. Here with your Winston, big nade. That's something you're going to talk about with your Winston, I think, and look for as well, because sometimes your Winston won't talk to you. But it's where is your Winston going to jump, because there is the Bella in the way. So you can't always see him. He can LOS you. So pay attention to where he's playing. You see him sliding off to the left here, right? His whole hitbox is shifting this way, which means it's going to the left. So you're going to want to also move to the left immediately as soon as you see this. He also gets booped and discorded. Happens. I don't think you save him there, but maybe. And still something to keep in mind.
I just chucked both of my cooldowns like an idiot.
I don't mind the nade. You look for ult charge. The sleep dart, yeah, probably not the best. Also not the best nade. You don't have any follow-up. And this fight is winnable, by the way. That's the difference between the first nade and the second, is that the first nade, there's no follow-up, but the second nade, the fight's winnable. And so saving that to nade, like, tanks here, even, because of where your Winston's walking. Speaking of, we'll go back. After your Winston dies, you never like sync back up with him. Like, if I ask you right now, where is your Winston standing?
I mean, I know where he's standing because I saw him later. He's bottom left.
Can you tell me exactly where he is in this frame though? Like bottom left, where bottom left?
Like underneath me with the megas.
Yeah, pretty much. Walking out now. But the thing I was trying to get at is that he's walking now. And if he's walking, he needs support. And you're only aware of him
one reason why I needed that brig was because I figured my monkey would be coming back from
Mhm.
like main, so I would nade the brig and call that brig was antied, and we'd dive brig because
Yeah.
he'd have a better LOS of it.
Yeah, your timing really on point, but the pathing very important, right? Once your Winston's here, he's not jumping on the brig, right?
Yeah.
So, take a glance around, right? Reloading, LOSing Zen, whatever. Turn, see where your Winston is. Want to take a look at ammo? Nah, there's never really a time where it's like, oh yeah, definitely should have reloaded here. Also, that pressure that the ball just put on you, want to note that if their ball gets forced out and is forced to burn cooldowns, nice shots, he doesn't get to pressure you like that, and your Winston lives. Close. I'll be honest, the only big gripe I have here is you should have dropped sooner. Probably now, when their brig's dead, now would be the time to drop. After you kill Tracer, maybe. Definitely now, you should look to drop. You can see that your Echo's back. They have no supports and no Tracer. It's just the Cassian tanks. Your brig wants to go swing, and your brig's having a grand old time, getting a lot of value. So I think you could have dropped a little bit sooner. So your brig can go swing. W. Okay, we go retake high ground. Let's take a look at nano timing.
That just like really sucks that he like barely LOS'd.
Since you are going to be LFT soon, I will ask, because this is something that will actually happen in scrims. How do you coordinate nano boosts? Like, what does comm sound like between you and your main tank? Or like, what do you want them to sound like? Say you get to choose. What do you want your main tank to say, or how do you want to call it?
I normally want my main tank to say nano me, and then I peek nano them, and then they jump, preferably. So that way I know for sure I will always have like clear LOS on them.
Okay. So just nano me, no countdown, no go now, just
Well,
nano me?
I would put like a 3-2-1 nano me, and then I nano, and then they jump.
Okay.
Because like in a situation like this, where I believe we did count down, and then he jumped, he LOS'd like perfectly.
Okay.
And it was just unfortunate.
Okay. Two things I'll say. The first is, ideally, your Winston says nano me and then gives you the 3-2-1, because if he just starts saying 3-2-1, like, what is he counting down for, right? Is he counting down for, like, they're walking and we're coordinating high noon, or, like, we're gonna rally? Like, what's the countdown for? And so him saying nano me gets your attention and lets everyone else know, like, hey, this is what's going on. Even if you're on board with this nano, maybe our Tracer's not paying attention. And hearing nano me, our Tracer goes, oh, hey, we're about to have nano. So leading with nano me and then 3-2-1 is pretty solid. And the second thing is, with that 3-2-1, Winston jump timings are a little bit fickle for two reasons. A couple reasons. The first is like a couple minor details. Zarya bubble is one. If he gets bubbled early, he's gonna jump early. If he sees their brig waste whip shot, he's gonna go early. If he gets 5 orbed, he's gonna go early. Alright, so there's all of those little factors, and then there's also timing, where there's an ideal timing for the landing, where he doesn't want them too far forward, but doesn't want them too far back, and if he sees that they're getting too far, he might go early, right? The trend being, he might go early, so nano him on 2, until you get synergy down with your main tank. Just that way you don't mess it up, he always gets nano, etc. Very, very solid. And he doesn't LOS you when he jumps early. Once you play with a certain main tank for a while, you'll have it down where you can nano him like as late as possible. But yeah, nano him on 2. So what this would look like is he'd be like, nano me 3, 2, 1, and you'd go on. Well, I'm early, but he'd go. You would have nanoed him just a second before. This is like where the 1 would be. You'd nano him here as he starts to walk, right? He'd say 3, 2, and he's about to jump on 1, so you nano him right here in this frame. That makes sense?
Yeah. And then I nano once he gets boots back to keep him up. And just so that way you like get the nano.
Yeah. Man. Feel free to drop at this point, by the way. High ground is very cool, but more important than high ground is playing with your teammates. Double bubble plays very much like a brawl comp, especially when you have a Cassidy, which you don't in this case, but you play extremely brawly. You have your Zarya, who does a lot of damage, and has a lot of protection, and can better protect when she's able to body block with her personal bubble. If you're up here, your Zarya can't help you with her personal bubble. And you're not Inspire, you're not within Inspire, your break can't help you, so you're gonna want to drop and play here. You have a higher chance of living getting jumped on here than you do playing up here on the high ground, but alone. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Having said that, there's no pressure on you late fight.
My bad.
Nice one, JJ. Goodbye, laughing fox.
Okay, so this fight... Oh. We'll talk about their Winston swap in just a moment. But for this fight, you are going to want to drop, because you're going to want to play again with your Zarya, who's going to be aggressive, and your Brig, who's going to rally, and your Brig does not want to rally and stand up here. Hey guys, what's good? I'm rallying. This is fun. Right? Your Brig wants to go in. You need to go in with her. Get the rally armor, get the Inspire. So you're going to look to push with her. The second thing, you remember first fight when you stood up here and landed a big nade and were just free, uncontested? How do you think that felt for their backline? Having a Winston in their face with a nano, or with an Ana pocket?
Not good.
Not good. So you wouldn't want to have that happen to you?
Yeah.
Okay. They are now on the comp that does that to you. So be careful playing upper. You remember I talked about how playing up here gives you LOS to your Winston on high ground?
Yep.
Same thing applies on the other side. It gives them LOS to their Winston. Whereas, if you play down here, there's no LOS. Their Ana cannot support their Winston past right here, right? Which gives you kiting options, right? So you can look to play down here instead. Because you have the ult advantage, I don't think you necessarily need to now, but definitely keep that in mind later on.
Okay.
Not a macro bot review. Focus on our Ana, not our Winston. Our Winston's doing a mild amount of trolling, but happens. Don't worry about your Tracer, trust your Brig to get the pack. If it's mid-fight, sure, land the quick scope. Okay, I do want to illustrate something, because ranked games will happen, and you will have Winstons who hard troll you, so while I'm not here to coach your Winston, I can coach you on adapting to your Winston. If you threw a nade at the enemy backline right now, where would it go?
Where would it go? What do you mean by where would it go?
Yeah, where would the nade end up? If you threw a nade at their backline, where would it end up? What would happen to the nade?
It would hit their backline.
Would it?
I mean, their diva would eat it. They could eat it.
There's
And
a-
monkey bubble.
There's a bubble in your face. The nade's not going anywhere. It's just gonna hit the bubble and not go anywhere, right? Let's say you try to heal your Winston. Can you heal him right now?
Nope.
Can you heal your Echo?
No.
You're not really able to do much because there's the Winston in your face, right? Okay, now imagine their Winston's not here. Now can you heal your Winston? Now can you try to nade their backline?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna flip it again. They're in a mirror. They're in the same situation. There's no Winston in their face. If their Ana wants to nade the backline, she can. If their Ana wants to heal her Winston, she can, right? Because this Winston is in your face, and this Winston is not in theirs. And so, from your perspective, ideally, instead of your Winston jumping up here at the start of the fight, he would start up here. He would just already be up here in their face to begin with, and then he could jump out. But you need to recognize, right now, your Winston dropped. You remember how we've talked about forcing out the ball, and how that opens you up to go get value? They just forced out your Winston, which means their backline can now get value, right? So you see your Winston... Yeah, wait, this is you, right? Nope, this is in the wrong spot. There we go. You see your Winston drop, your main tank gets forced out. Got there eventually. You need to be aware that their backline has a massive opening to get value.
So I would drop bottom right.
So you would drop bottom right. Bingo. Because you drop, like right now, their Winston jumps and feels really silly when no one is there. Anyway. Yeah, so big mistake on your Winston's part. Also, we live, which I didn't think we would. Our Echo does die for it. But yeah, recognizing where your tank's at. No. Okay, when we see this Winston leave, by the way, same thing. Their Winston's left, we have a chance to get value, and we have rally going. Now's about when we'd want to drop. We've probably lost this fight. They're going to mirror the rally. But should be walking a little earlier, right? Don't hesitate here on the ledge. Don't hesitate after the Helix, right? Go play with your Brig. Then you're already past that pulse bomb. You save your Brig. You're not isolated. That make sense?
Yeah.
Nice movement, though. Really nice movement, actually. Wait, did your team clutch this? They don't. You know the Ana one-shot combo, right?
It's... Well, if you hit a sleep, it's what? It's shoot, shoot nade, shoot melee, right? I don't not exactly off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
if you land asleep, that is that is how you do it. But in this case, I'm talking like going for a ranged pick. What you want to do is
shoot sleep and then shoot nade, right? Not one shots.
no sleep dart. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna throw your nade first, and then you're gonna scope. And when as your nade is landing, that's when you'll be able to shoot. And so your shot and your nade will land at the same time, and then it's just one shot that you need to kill them. Right? So if you throw a nade here and assume they don't DM, but you throw your nade and then you quick scope and you hit the soldier and then you shoot him again, he's dead. And then you just walk away. Right? So that's something you could look to do here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just commit a drive-by.
Yeah, just give him a drive-by. Exactly. And if the timing is slightly off, because he has heal pad down, he won't die. Like, you need your nade to land first. So your shot does its full damage instead of getting healed even by 1 HP. But yeah, if you're ever looking for like an opening pick or the fight's lost, that's how you do it. Nade, then shot, then shot.
I felt like I did good here because I knew my monkey was gonna nano here.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk back onto the bridge so I can LOS him mid-jump to
Ooh.
nano him. You'll see what I do.
I'm excited to see that. For now, though, I can tell you're a little too far forward. You know their Winston's here. Like, we're still getting cleaves. We're still getting cleave. Your Brig should step forward and take that cleave and get Inspire. We should not still be low HP when there's a monkey in our face and we have a Brig.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So I walk back. Actually, no. It's the next fight.
Dominated.
Laughing Fox popped off, killed 3.
True. Wonder who that guy is and if he's ever thought about joining a team.
But yeah, it's here. I sit on bridge and wait for my monkey to jump.
I need to fire man.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay. Your positioning's good. But just sort of like have the same thought process. We're gonna talk a little bit of macro here. Looking at this, what's wrong with this setup?
I can't fall off with a nade.
Okay, why can't you follow up with the nade?
Because that giant fucking building is in the way. And if I were to walk out with my Zarya right now, I'd get bubbled off.
You'd get bubbled off by their Winston, who hasn't been cleared out. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the problem with it, is our Tracer and our Echo are in a great spot to shoot this Winston, right? If we basically just sit here in AFK, let our DPS shoot him, let our Winston walk on him, and our Zarya too, and our Brig, right? Everyone but you just like shoot this Winston a little bit, and then he leaves, and his bubble's gone, and then you get to Nano, and then walk in nade. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And if your main tank's calling for this, in ranked, you can't tell them otherwise, but you can't tell them to just not go. But that is something to be aware of. Still a solid nano engage, by the way. But okay. Wait, who won this map? Both teams are at 99.
We won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They won
this
that
is-
point. They won
Yeah,
that
this is the round where SD won.
W. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns for anything on Ilios?
No. A lot of it is just positional.
That's what I noticed too. Your mechanics look good, your movement looks good, but positional, right? Drop with your Brig. Play out
Yeah.
of their Winston's power
think-
position.
I feel like the best thing for me right now is to try and find a main support that like knows what they need to do and like when like the good time to drop is, and then they just comment. Just have like a good like calming main support.
Yeah, that would be really helpful, having a main support that can help with that, because it is also a lot of time up to your Brig or your Zarya about when you're going to go press W and brawl, because your Brig is the one doing the swinging and your Zarya is the one doing the damage. So a lot of time is more up to them, and you trying to like drag them by their ear to go brawl normally doesn't go quite as well.
Yeah.